welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another before and after video. That series that's been very quiet on the channel for quite a while, and that's mostly because the last ones, the brittle stars, that's a tough act to follow up, but also because I just haven't had a huge amount of material go off to prep. But now I've got some material back. Some I've had back since the brittle star, some has come back more recently, but I've now got enough to put it together a little video for you and a chance to show off some more stunning finds and some cool things that Sean has prepped for me. Let's start with this one up here. This is a classic Middle Lias sort of shelly block. We see these from Robin Hood's Bay, particularly towards Horsker, and you also get them up again at Staithes sort of area. And they're full of shells, bivalves, and preserved really well. And we also get some lovely ammonites within them. And that's what this one is for. I got distracted and looking down, yeah, a duck, a nice tinny. But what I am excited by, I've just made my trip. I've always been looking for a good pleuro block. And so this one that I've been breaking down turns out to be that good one. Or at least hopefully. So there's one there. There's one up here. And the exciting one, hopefully, is the big one here. And so hopefully that is all there. I think it's a pleuro, although it's got a bit of a wiggly pie crust top. But I don't think it's Amaltheus stuff. I think it's all pleuro. And there may well be a lot more in this block, as this block seems to be quite a happy block. And I'm very, very pleased with it. So here we can see we've got lovely Pleuroceras, one there, another big but slightly damaged one there, and sadly two partial big ones scattered through the block, as well as some lovely preserved bivalves. And you see that lovely white and black calcite preservation that you often get with some of the shells in these layers. You also get red ones as well, and they're also very pretty. And so they are stunning. Pleuroceras, as I said, Middle Lias, they come in with other species, the Amauroceras and Amaltheus ones. And in fact, if you look at the keels of them, you might see on that one, and particularly this one down here, they share that sort of pie crusty style keel with the Amaltheus ammonites. This was my first decent Pleuroceras multi-block that I've ever had. I don't pretend it's going to be the nicest by any stretch for most people. If you go to Horsker enough or to the Middle Lias sections enough, you do find these blocks. You smack them open, you sometimes find really, really big pleuros, and there are many, many blocks with multiple in them, but it's my first one, and very happy to have it. I'm not sure on the species of Pleuroceras. There are quite a few different species determined by sort of ribs and shape of them. I would guess Horscherense just because of where it's from, but that's probably wrong. There are quite a few species that show up in the same beds and same areas, and I'm not an expert, so do not quote me on that. But a lovely block, and something I will need to do some more research into, the Middle and Lower Lias ammonites, because I'm not great with them, and I don't pretend to be. But beautiful, beautiful ammonites, and my first for my collection. Then we'll look at this one next. And another decent gramo block. So there's one here that I believe is this one. There's a bit there. There's a bit sticking out there. There's a bit of one sticking out the back there. So I think that will come back as is. I think this will be, there's a matrix that's a bit easier to prep. I've got one at home that I'm working on. It's yeah, a really nice piece, but taking me a long time. But it's a lot softer than the standard pyrite mess that you often find these in. So that's me having done the dirty work. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little ammonites on this side. This one in particular down here has some extraordinarily beautiful colours. And then on the other side there's a 6th ammonite. They all look a bit rough at the minute because they need finishing off in the middles, and that's where I'm going to send it off to Sean. See what he can do with them. See if he can rescue the middles out, because gramos are notorious for not having middles, but these ones actually look like they're pretty good, pretty close down to the middle. So we'll see what he can do with them. It's a classic. This is a Gramoceras block. So following up from the Middle Lias, we're now up into the uppermost lias in Ravenscar, and Grammoceras come in very much similar blocks to the same Pluro style ones. They're shelly, they're hard, you smack them open and hope that there's some ammonites in them. And this one I actually did the majority of the prep myself, but just to get that finish, to get the detail in some of the ammonites, particularly when they're this close together, and some of them have got really difficult angles to get into that I just couldn't do with my tools. But they prep, some of them prep really well. There's a lighter grey matrix that you sometimes see around the Grammoceras blocks, which tends to indicate they'll prep well, although it sometimes means that the preservation quality isn't always as good. But we've got a lovely 1, 2, 3, tiny 4, 5, 6. So beautiful. And you might just hear in the background, it's starting to rain. Much needed rain for Yorkshire. Good sign for maybe fossil hunting and some cliff falls down the line. Then the next one. That may not look like much. That's a little nautilus actually. You can just see the little chambers coming around. It's a bit broken, but I've got all the pieces in my hand here from where I just tapped it. So yeah, that's the second one I've ever found. This is another Holsker special, actually found on the same day as the starfish. It's a little, I don't pretend pretty, but it's a very little nautilus. And so it actually has a relatively decent middle that goes down. It's a bit tough to see in the light, especially now that all of the light from outside has gone, but the middle goes down fairly well. It was a weird block when I found it. I actually hit it thinking it was a nodule, but it turns out that the nodule itself is probably part of a very worn outer chamber. The body chamber would have wrapped around, and probably is what all of these little fragments are parts of the outermost chamber that have now disappeared. And so we've just got the remains of a little nautilus. And yeah, having found none, I've now got 2 in the space of 6 months. So it's been going very well, but a fun little one to have, and a very, very pleasant surprise when you go down and just see a little nodule, just see the inside of a nautilus when you tap it open. Yeah, very nice. And the final one for today is the big one. Well, I found starfish. Got one here. That looks pretty good. There's a leg of another one there, and there's a partial up there. The problem is this block is, it's far too big. So we're going to have a bit of an adventure trying to figure out how to get this manageable. We made it. We've got starfish in there and slightly higher up, and then there's the smaller, less complete one is in this block at the bottom separately. But one hell of an effort by everyone to help me get that back up. Yes, it's another starfish. It's the third. It's the one that belongs to the other block. It took a little bit longer to get prepped because the other one took so long to prepare that Sean had to go do some other jobs. But yeah, it's also a beautifully preserved specimen. This is the only bit we could see on the block. The quality of its preservation is really good. It's a shame that obviously the legs here are gone, and so you just get the hint where Sean has sort of prepped where the legs would go. But he did see just a little bit at the top here of this one, so it's probably the leg here that's wrapped around. But it's not to say there couldn't have been another one that's been at the top here, but tough to say. It does also preserve this lovely imprint of another bivalve. So I'm still working on how to mount this with the other starfish, and I suspect it will be its own little block sitting next to them, but longer term I'm hoping I can get it back into the original place, because this should have a block. The other block should sit pretty much here and cover most of this over, but it should be accessible and visible because it is a worthy fossil for any collection. It's just I'm a bit spoilt with my starfish that this is my rubbish starfish, and it's still a stunner. So yeah, a lovely little addition to the collection, and 4 lovely little blocks back from prep. Sean now thankfully has a few more bits that are off being prepped. I've been doing some more of my own prep, not a lot admittedly, but I'm hoping to do my first before and after of my own prep material, which will be cool. So that's where we're headed. I hope you've enjoyed this short but finally restarted before and after series. And thank you all for watching as always. We'll catch you in the next video.